All right, everyone. Drudge had an article the other day basically corroborating what a lot of people have said, which is that the legacy media, overall, we're talking cable and newsprint, the old guard media. I don't know if this involves the missing link media like a Breitbart or a Salon. I'm going to assume not. They've got their own problems right now. Trust me, you look at how the Blaze or Salon are doing, it's pretty self-evident. They're cannibalizing one another at this point. The legacy media, the number of people working for them shrunk by 23% in the last decade. That's cable and newsprint. That's pretty significant, yeah. Over that same period, over the last 10 years, my audience, how much has it grown? Yeah. I'm not even going to bother giving you a percentage, like what, 10, 20,000% or some insane amount? For some people, it's even more than that. It's like, oh yeah, my audience grew by 1,000,000% or something. The alt media is growing rapidly. Still growing. Hell, every day, 200-300 people subscribe to this channel, to my channel on YouTube alone. If you're on BitChute, that's approaching like 18,000. On Minds, Daily Motion, a bunch of people following me there at this point. By the way, link in the description. It's actually quite funny. Meanwhile, they're having trouble getting like anybody to pay attention to their shit. I saw the other day, it was funny. I think it was Rebel Media was getting targeted by right-wing watch. Like Holt put this up. Like he blocked me, so I have to sign out to see his tweets. Once in a while, I'll go see him in case there's anything like really cringy. It's really funny. I'm sure he does the same to me. I mean, let's not kid ourselves because I'm newsworthy. Unlike right-wing watch. It was funny, they were criticizing Rebel Media. They're like, oh, they got so many subscribers, but nobody, looks at the material. And I'm thinking, first and foremost, Rebel Media, without all the people that left Rebel Media, is a shell of its former self. And number two, Right-Wing Watch literally has the same problem. MTV News probably has it worse than everyone else under the sun. MTV News or maybe Vox or Salon or something. But it's telling. They shrink, and keep in mind, this is in the last 10 years, 23% as far as the number of people working for them. Their ratings have shrunk even further than that. Most of Gen Z no longer pays attention to TV. The new up-and-coming generation that's just barely getting into young adulthood doesn't really give a shit about TV. What about newspaper and magazine subscriptions? And by the way, how many of these people even know about the existence of most of the missing link media? Probably they don't. They probably follow one or two. They're like, oh, yeah, Colbert's all right. Or, yeah, I kind of look at Salon once in a while. Yeah, the Blaze is all right. Like, the Blaze is dying. Like, even Shapiro's people won't buy their fucking rag at this point. Salon downsized, like, last year. They moved to a new venue. They couldn't pay their rent. They couldn't fucking pay their rent. They had to cut several jobs and relocate to a smaller, cheaper part of town, I guess. It's hilarious. They have this problem all the time, and yet the alt media just keeps growing and growing and growing. Now, the thing is, their natural reaction is to try to, they false flag and they defame, try to deplatform and do that. It's not really working that well, though. All things considered, generally looking around, most of us have escaped more or less unscathed. That's because we're not doing anything wrong. Like the big tech sites, I think some kernel of awareness is still there in the brains of groups like YouTube and Twitter, that their independent user base really made their sites what they are. They don't really want to piss off too many people, so they're sort of softballing us, I think, in many ways. That's why they get strikes all the time, but then they always get repealed. It's like it happened to me. It's happened. Sargon went down again. Dapperton, Bering, everyone, they get their account taken down or get a strike. They always appeal. It's always back. Like iHypocrite, I think, like fucking less than a week ago. It happens all the time. Even smaller and like alt media and satirist and analytical users have this advantage. Meanwhile, the legacy media, latecomers to the party, Johnny-come-latelys to social media, they're having great difficulty. And they spent so much time building up their presence on Facebook, I think, as the one site where Zuckerberg really love them. Like, he loved the legacy media. He's like, yeah, please interact with their content. I'll push your content. I'll algorithmically manipulate the news feeds, they announced last year or earlier this year. Now Facebook is basically collapsing. So it's like, fuck you. You spent years and millions of dollars on your dozen staff just to have a Facebook page operating. Now it's worthless. Facebook is literally worthless. At some point, they'll begin shrinking. Over the next decade, it'll be Facebook that shrinks 23%. It'll probably be more. It'll probably be closer to 100%. Then you go MySpace mode, hopefully become like Yahoo. They'll become little more than a zombie company. And Zuckerberg, it's going to be funny when Zuckerberg's old, because as he gets older, he just looks like a more disheveled robot, like his skin sags a little bit, but he's still got that weird robotic glazed stare. And he really pisses me off because he's got that thing that some people have where their arms are just a little bit too short for their body size. And it just really pisses me off. It's a weird thing that I have. As far as the legacy media goes, though, I'm basically dead in the water. And the water is shrinking. It's the same metaphor that I have to use. You've got a pond. The fish eat one another, so one fish grows and thinks, well, everything's okay. But the pond itself is shrinking. Eventually, there's no water left. Meanwhile, alt media, there's a fucking deluge pouring into our pond. Our pond is rapidly expanding. The internet's not even half the size it'll be in like 20, 30 years. Plenty of room for expansion for, several more paradigms. We've got no problem. We'll be really, really old and really, really gray by the time things change demonstrably enough to fuck over the new rising alt media. Because new platforms get created, we just populate there. Because, we're smart enough to realize it's a good idea. I see a handful of commentators still. They're not embracing anything about alt tech. I think it's the biggest career mistake they're making. A huge career mistake. Trust me. If you trust me on nothing else, prognosticating a fucking election or philosophy or anything, the spirituality, all right, ignore all that. Trust me on one thing. If you are a major commentator within the alternative media, which, by the way, I think it was, who was it? I think it was Huffington Post declaring, no, it was BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed said alt media, alt tech means alt-right technology, and they're totally wrong. If you're not on at least one major alt tech site, you're making a huge mistake. You're denying yourself the possibility of surviving the upcoming technological paradigm. Huge mistake, don't do it. In fact, you should be on all alt tech sites. You should also be on multiple older tech sites. Like I'm on Dailymotion. It's not alt tech. I think it existed before YouTube, if I remember correctly. I'm still going to be there, just in case. It takes not that much effort. Some of you people, you have 5 or 6 other people working with or even for you in some cases, and you barely manage 2 or 3 social media pages. I'm solo. Nobody manages anything for me. I manage it all myself. I got a dozen different presences. I don't understand. It's hilarious. By the way, I'm going to be setting up a crypto wallet soon. Finally, I'm having to buckle. Maker support just fucked off. So you got to have some alternative to normal crowdfunding, maybe a PayPal link or something, I don't know. I'm hesitant on that end. That's the fundraising side is less important anyway. You've got to have a platform to fundraise. But if you just have a major fundraising presence without doing anything, it's basically defeats the purpose. So the content should precede, the side of, hey, I do have costs. I do have to be paid something. The legacy media is dying. It's going to be hilarious because as they die, a lot of those people, they don't go to another legacy media site. It's like when CNN and Fox, they have their ratings war right now, and they're constantly going up or down. No, I mean Fox and MSNBC. It's at CNN's expense. They're not adding anything new to the legacy media audience, and some of those people, not all, not even most, but a handful of them, jettison cable news entirely, and they go to the internet for their news. Some of them end up here on YouTube. Some of them end up on Twitter and stuff like that. I think it's wonderful. So, yeah, we're out competing them. This is why for 2 years now they've been attempting to defame the alt media at every possible opportunity. They're going to continue, by the way, for some time until it becomes evident that that strategy doesn't work. Then they're going to try to play nice. I'm going to tell you the next phase of their plan will be to throw huge amounts of money at alt media talents that have sort of made it, larger presences. They're going to try to buy you. Don't listen to them, because you don't need them. They'll keep dying. We can do it all ourselves. We're much more efficient. If you do sell out, bad things ahead for you in the next period. I'm telling you again, it's a bad career move. Do not sell out to the legacy media. They'll try to say, hey, how would you like to be our correspondent? They'll finally buckle and they'll kneel and pretend to kiss ring, but really you'll be the one kissing their ring because they're the ones with billions of dollars. Less of an audience maybe in the near future, but they'll still have way more money. And they're going to try to dangle it over you like a lure. Hey, how would you like a 7-figure salary to do what you're currently doing for $3,000 a month? To maintain your independence, because pretty soon they'll run you into the ground. They'll do what they're trying, partially unsuccessfully, to do to big tech. They hate big tech, but they want to partner with them in order to destroy them because they hate the competition. That's really what it's all about. That's about all. Peace out.